All right, we're on chapter 2-4, and this is multiplying and dividing with real numbers. And basically what that is multiplying and dividing with negatives or fractions. So if you're brushed up on all your fractions and how to multiply with fractions, which I hope you are, if you aren't, then it'd be important to ask me questions. We can go through this pretty quickly. So on your note sheet, it says turn multiplication statements into strings of addition. And the first one that I give you is 2 times, and that's a times symbol, the dot, the one that I'll be using a lot. 2 times 5, and 2 times 5 is basically saying you are taking 2 and you're adding it together 5 times. There's another way of saying it. You are taking 5 and you're adding it together 2 times. Either way, it's going to equal the same thing. But let me write it out one of the ways. So 2 times 5, we're going to say 2 5 times. All right. The next one. Negative 4 times 5. Okay. So, with a string of addition or subtraction, if you were to think about it, like up here, you add these together and it goes, if you're on a number line, you say 2. And when you say 2, suppose this is 0. When you say 2, that means you're starting right about here. And then you add 2 more. So you go 2 more. You add 2 more. You go up 2 more. Add 2 more. Go up 2 more. Add 2 more. Go up 2 more. Now, there's something hidden in this one up here. And it's the fact that this first 2 is a positive 2. And you could think about it like this. You could think about it like 0 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And if you think about it like that, then your starting point is 0, you add 2, then you add 2, then you add 2, then you add 2, then you add 2. All right, so you can always pretend that when you're dealing with multiplication, when you turn it into an addition string, the first number in there is a 0. It's going to be the same thing down here. You're going to start out with a 0. And that 0 is our starting point on the number line. I'm going to erase these. And so we start from 0. And in this case, we're going to say we are going negative 4, or we're going to go backwards 4 5 times. Our starting point is 0. And so backwards 4 5 times, that's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. You get the idea. It goes back that direction 5 times. To write it out in a math sentence, you go 0 minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. And you can solve that. This top one is 2. This bottom one is negative 20. All right, in the next one down, we have negative 2 Negative 2 times negative 2 means that you are going, it's sort of like the money situation that I talked to you about earlier with double negatives. Taking away a debt is a way to think about double negatives. And so it's like you're taking away negative 2 steps 2 times. Okay, so you're taking away negative 2 steps 2 times. Taking away negative 2 steps 2 times. And so taking away negative 2, and then taking away negative 2, and that is going to equal 0 minus -2. Both of these are going to end up being plus, so it's 0 plus 2. Plus 2 is going to be positive 4. That is an introduction to the general rules of multiplication. So now let me simplify it for you. All right, so here's the blanks under number 2. Within all, the first blank is groups of multiplication, 2 negatives cancel out. And so, for example, if you have -2 times -2, these negatives cancel out. So you can you can just erase them and make it 2 times 2, which is 4. Therefore, -2 times -2 equals 4. These are the same statements. However, if you have only, if you don't have 2 negatives, then it doesn't cancel out. So 3 times -2 is going to be a negative number because there's only one negative. So 3 times -2, because you predict what the answer, if you can predict the positive or negative sign of the answer by the negatives in the multiplication phrase. Once you've predicted the negatives, then all you have to do is multiply the numbers. So 3 times 2 is 6. Our answer is -6. And so the next blank under number 2, multiplication and division with negatives, therefore, an odd number of negatives makes the group negative. So if we have a string of multiplication that looks like this, -3 times 2 times -5 times 6 times 3 times -1. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the negative symbols, and you're going to say we have 1 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them. That is an odd number of negatives. Therefore, this entire phrase of multiplication is going to end up being a negative. Now that we know it's going to be negative, we can ignore all the symbols. We can even erase them. And then we can just multiply the numbers, which I'm not going to do right now. But it would be something, a negative number. And then all those same rules apply to division. So in a division problem, if you have a negative number divided by another negative number, these 2 negatives cancel out, therefore making the problem just 2 divided by 3. And also, in a fraction, because fractions are basically division problems, if you have a negative number over top of another negative number, the 2 negatives on top and on bottom cancel out. All right, try the examples, and good luck.